I'm just about to share my screen and take you through a presentation, which I hope you'll find interesting and useful and practical. And I will see you at the other end for the Q&A. Great, good morning. So my name is Felix Velarde, and I am going to be talking about how to lead your company's charge into the new future. I'm the co-founder of the 2Y3X program. 2Y3X is a structured growth acceleration program for companies of all kinds. My own background is agencies and tech companies, tech startups and consulting firms. But we cover all sorts of ranges from engineering to social impact businesses to production companies, media, publishing, and so on. The 2-year program that companies join always doubles revenue, sometimes triples revenue. We set ourselves very hard targets, and we share the pain. We're remunerated partly on the results that we get working with our clients. We have a 5-year track record of success, but for the last 4 months, we've been running pro bono, which has been fascinating and challenging. And we've helped probably between 30 and 40 companies so far. Obviously, lockdown is now ended, and we're starting to see companies making serious progress towards rebooting or rebounding. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. I'm going to show you a methodology for planning a fast reboot. A lot of the companies that we've been speaking with and been working with are stuck in some kind of limbo. We call it the plateau of gloom. And where they're starting to think about setting new targets, they tend to be modest targets. The experience of Locke et al. And the studies that were made on setting targets actually mandates that we set much higher and harder targets. And so that's what we've been doing. We've been doing that actually for the last 5 years, and it seems to work extremely well. The higher the targets, the more challenging it is, the better teams respond, and the more companies grow. I think if you are used to feast and famine, then it's normal that you set a 10 or 20% growth target over the course of a year. But the problem is with feast and famine, the margin of error often wipes out any growth, and you end up with a plateau. We are passionate believers that we should set much harder targets. So at a very minimum, doubling revenue over 2 years requires 40% growth year on year. So that's what we do. Anyway, back to the present day. We are just starting to see the signs of recovery. Clients are starting to win business, customers are coming back, paused budgets are starting to be respent. In fact, Gartner's done a study on the phases of restart and reboot. And you can see there the results of the study at gartner.com, Smarter with Gartner. They phase the response to coming out of lockdown. And they talk about respond, recover, and renew. And the way that they actually describe it in slightly more technical terms is responding to pent-up demand and using that as a way of rebounding and rescaling. 2Y3X is a scaling company. That's what we do for a living. So rather than setting the sort of standard normal target, we will set a much higher target, and then we'll put in place over the course of 2 years various scaling building blocks, things like recruitment policies and strategies, making sure that we've got the right people on the bus, new workflows, devolved team responsibility to give strategic control to some of the people, some of the superstars within the business. And we keep building, implementing little blocks, risk registers, all the good stuff, marketing strategies, lead generation plans, consistent branding, consistent proposition. And over the course of the 2 years, this actually leads to significant growth. And so especially in the second year, we start to see real growth acceleration. So that's our approach. That's the 2-year program approach. The way that it really works is we use a simple planning framework. This is called a strategy map. It's the 2Y3X strategy map. And we start at the end by setting some goals. We set some goals that just takes, for example, we've decided that in 3 years' time, we want to exit the company. We want to sell the company to an acquirer, to a group. We want, in order to be able to get the best exit, we want to be the industry leader. We want to be Agents of the Year or Engineering Firm of the Year. We want to have won the Best in Class award. And then thirdly, we want some kind of cultural marker, some kind of thing that says what kind of people we are as a place to work. So we've set here, for the sake of example, proxy of the Times Top 100 places to work. And the way that the strategy work and planning framework works is we start at the end with these goals, and then we figure out what's happening in 2022 for these things to be true by the end of that year. And we break it down into silos: people, clients, sales and marketing, processes, and corporate and financial. And we start at the end. So we start with 2022, what's got to be true. Then what have we got to be doing in 2021 in order to be able to get to 2022? And therefore, what needs to be happening the year before that in 2020 in order to prepare for 2021? 2020, of course, is now. So let's take people as an example, just so that I can illustrate this. If we want to exit the company in 2022, we need a senior leadership team or a senior management team in charge of the business, running the business. This allows us as owners to do our M&A, to go out and meet potential acquirers, to do the deal itself, which can take anywhere from, my best deal I think is 7 weeks, but typical is 7 months. I've done 2 deals that both taken 7 months. That's an enormous distraction for the owners of a business. So the senior management team needs to be in charge during that whole year while you're going off and doing your corporate stuff. In order for that to be true in 2021, you need the senior management team in place and practicing running the business. In order for that to be true, this year, you need to identify, recruit, and set up a senior management team. So you see how it works. It goes backwards from the end. Exit is the end goal. Working backwards from there, we now know what we need to do this year in order to prepare so that we can, in fact, exit in 2022. In order, for example, for us to be Times Top 100 place to work in 2022, our culture needs to be absolutely stellar. In order for that to be true, we need only A players within our team, and we need an incentive program in place to motivate those A players. So the prep that we need to do in 2020 is new hiring strategy, make sure we've got the right people on the bus, no C players, for example, and put in place a continuous professional development program or a training program so that we can upgrade our employees to become A players. Does that make sense? So we start at the end and we work backwards. That actually happens across all 5 areas. It happens across people, clients, sales and marketing, processes, and corporate and financial. Very straightforward. Going back to Gartner, this implies that actually that we need to start right now, and we need to do something very fast. We need to do a reopening, if you like, planning session. So we can't go straight into the 2-year program and hope for the best. We actually probably need to do with some preparation for this. And that prep allows us to reformulate our business strategy, optimize using the tools at our disposal and the opportunities that we have, and reconfigure our business so that it's attractive to those clients who have pent-up demand, but that demand may have changed to the demands and requirements from before the pandemic. So over the last 4 months, we've been using this tool to get companies ready for reboot. So we now have a number of companies that are coming towards the end of their 3-month version of the 2Y3X program and are ready to attack the market. And those companies that have been doing this are actually starting to see huge revenue boosts because they're now prepared. One of our clients, one of the program participants, their revenue tripled in June versus May, and it's doubled again in July. So by planning properly and attacking it early, as quickly as you possibly can, you're liable to be able to take proper advantage of the rebound that is starting to happen now. So this 3-month version of the roadmap, it's actually called QuickMap, is formulated over August, September, and October. Clearly, it's going to be a bit more quick and dirty and a bit more rudimentary than the 2-year strategy. So the end goal here is incoming business and our people ready to handle that incoming business. So I've put in an example here of a typical kind of QuickMap population, if you like. And I'm just going to highlight the most important things that we found, other than in the people section, making sure you've got exactly the right team on the bus. But for the moment, the first thing to address is your proposition and sales training. And then the second thing to address is your pricing for the new market. And then finally, looking at how you go to market, you do your marketing, lead generation, making sure that you're getting inbound leads and referrals as your 2 principal channels. And that's where the sharp growth is happening with the clients that we're working with at the moment on QuickMap. So 2Y3X QuickMap is a 90-day program. It serves as an introduction to the 2-year program. So companies that come out of the other 90 at the end of 90 days are qualified to go into the 2Y3X program proper. But it's the fastest and most accessible way for companies to look at a process that will get them back on their feet, rebounded fast. So the steps: plan, sort out your proposition, and sort out delivery. Really, really simple. Start at the end of a 3-month process and work your way backwards. Work out what you've got to do and get on with it. You've got a very, very short window of opportunity to capture the pent-up demand that has been stored during the lockdown period. For more information, you can come to 2y3x.com/quickmap or email me, felix@2y3x.com. I'm Felix Velarde, and I'm now ready to answer all of your questions. Thank you.